We thought we were hunting this morning.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Need a buck to put next to your bowl there, boy.
I had my opportunity. So.
Well, if you work hard, you might get another one. Your binos are in my boat. I don't know if you want them back.
No.
You don't want those back?
Jake and I jumped into this spot where Warb and Ben ran into all those bucks about a week ago, right along the river here, and our wind is sucking right back over it. It's supposed to be pretty windy today, like 15-mile-an-hour gusts at points. It's pretty calm at the moment, but if it starts picking up throughout the afternoon, that'd be good. The plan is just to work down through here along the river and see if we can run into a buck. It's about noon right now, so we got 5 hours or so to work down through here, try and run into something.
You're thinking about where you're gonna get if he starts coming to check us out.
That'd be a little closer than that one. The doe, she's walking our way.
He's coming too. I don't know if he's looking.
It's this tree between us.
Where's the doe at?
She's probably only 50 or 60 yards away, straight in front of him, straight in front of us to the right.
Is she looking at us?
She wasn't, no, she was just walking this way. See the buck still?
Yeah.
Oh, there's the doe. Did she spook?
I wasn't watching her. I think I knew something was up at the time.
Yeah. The doe didn't though. She didn't act like she did when I saw her.
Even the buck, he stopped looking at us eventually. Kind of, at least.
The doe, when I saw her, she was just walking way flat.
I think it might hurt us.
She's kidding.
I don't know if he's heard us yet. He might grunt at him. Louder.
Is that Norway's?
Sure. At first I thought maybe he was just coming into the call. So I think he was just cruising. Move out there to the trail he was on. That one was almost acting like he was cruising where either those deer moved through earlier or he was just searching, but either way he moved right through here somewhere. And I think there's gonna be another buck that follows that same trail. You'd think the way he was on a mission, it seemed like.
The spot that we're sitting at right now, there's like a bunch of thick stuff up in front of us. There's a transition right here in front of us. where it's like CRP on the left and then more like canary grass and thicker
Honeysuckle.
honeysuckle. Yeah, that buck came right out of that CRP right down through that stuff. So we're set up now where we can shoot anything that comes right through here.
You've been talking about it a lot lately. It's just there's a lot of stuff that kind of just comes together right here. And we're just kind of right on the transition even of like the thick stuff and the pretty open hardwood river bottom type stuff.
Yeah, hoping another one does it.
Coming back in here tomorrow.
Probably. I don't see why not.
So you got a good chance.
That's gonna do it for today. November 17th, and I've been hunting for like 12 days straight. Gotten a shot at one buck. Hoping to kill one here soon. We got 3 more Iowa tags between me, Greg, and Warb for bow season. Hoping we can get some of these filled here soon.
You're gonna be here by yourself the next couple of days, so
Yeah, I'll be here by
be
myself.
self-filming. I gotta go back to Wisconsin for gun season.
Kind of looking forward to that, I guess. Hunting by myself. Plan right now is to come back in here with the decoy. We got the same wind tomorrow. Just get set up in this open river bottom. I mean, it can be seen from a long ways in here, so.
Spend the whole day back in here. You probably have one come in, I think.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get it done here soon. I just got the decoy set up and I got a little spot picked out over here that I'm gonna sit in. There's a real big tree over here with some logs around it. And I'm gonna throw a little bit more brush up around it. That should be alright right there. It's gonna be pretty sunny today, so the shadows should help once the sun gets up over the horizon. But got the decoy set up in this little spot. I'm pretty pumped up because it feels like a perfect day for bucks to be moving. I rubbed that tarsal gland on him just now, and that tarsal gland's been in our freezer for like 2 years. That's off the buck that Dad and I shot with the muzzleloaders in 2019. Glad I'm finally getting some use out of it. Just got tucked in here by this big tree. Got the decoy set out there about 15 yards away. We got a west wind that's blowing. It's a perfect wind for this spot. All the bedding and thick cover is up in front of me. And the west wind is blowing straight out of it pretty much. Got the decoy set up. Got some logs stacked up around me. I think I'm hid well enough. I don't know that for sure, but hoping with the decoy I'll be hid well enough. If nothing comes in here right off the bat, I might throw some more stuff up around me. We saw 3-shooter bucks in here last night, and we only sat here for a little bit, so I'm gonna spend all day in here, hoping to kill one right off the bat, obviously, but if not, there's a ton of ground back in here I can work through. Nobody's in here as far as I know, except for me. Let's get it done, boys. Oh, freaking pumped. Close call there. That buck wanted to come in, but the problem was if he did come in, he was gonna come in downwind. Him and his doe just took off down to the left along the same line that they came in on. That's the same buck that Roy and I ran into while we were in here about a week ago. He was bedded with a doe up in that thick while Roy and I were still hunting through there. We got to about 50 yards of him, and then they kind of just disappeared on us, but close call there. I thought he was gonna come in, but followed that doe down to the left, so that's what we're hoping for, though, is to have a buck cruise along there and see the decoy and come in. I don't know how well it's gonna work. Seems like a good option. I'm half tempted just to get up there where I can shoot that edge and not mess with the decoy, but I don't know if that's the best option or not. I like having the decoy up rather than hunting just that edge, because then if something's anywhere down in this bottom and sees the decoy, you got a chance. The best bet probably gonna be to have a buck come in that's by himself, see the decoy, and then come around to it, but that one was with a doe, so he was more concerned with that doe when she ran off than this decoy. He's going pretty fast. I just got there on a freaking hog, but it was back and pretty low. He was further than I thought he was, but I didn't want him to get down into that decoy, so I took the shot that I had. He was perfectly broadside, and he ran out here and he gave me a second shot. I tried to squeeze that one off pretty good, and I felt good about it, but I think I hit a log or something on that last one. He ran off and stopped and tucked his tail and walked back into that woods. Not great. I just glassed the arrow over there and I can see blood on it. So I'll have to go look at that here in a minute, but I don't feel great about it. And they say on these shots, if you hit them back and you're not sure about it, just walk up, grab the arrow, and get out of here without, don't try and blood trail, don't try and do nothing, especially if you gotta get a dog or something, which I might have to do on this one, it looks like. I'm pretty pumped up, I'm just a little worried about it. Finding this thing. Here's where I was sitting, right up against this big tree. Had a bunch of stuff stacked up around me. Some of these logs were already there this morning when I walked in, and that's kind of why I decided to sit there. Just cleared out some leaves right there, had my rattling antlers, tripod set up, and this little thing here, it's a little bow holder, and it's really handy, especially if you're self-filming, so worked out pretty good this morning. Has a pretty good pop, really.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I'd send it to Shane or somebody, and they'll probably be able to tell you pretty well exactly what to do. What? So you watched him for a while after you shot him?
yeah, he runs over and stands there and looks at me, and so I get drawn again, and I shoot, and I think I don't know if I hit a limb or what.
But he didn't run off real bad after that, even?
Yeah, he ran off after that. He ran off, stopped, so I was watching him, and he stopped looking at the decoy, and then he ran back into the woods.
He was running last time you saw him, tail up.
Yeah, but when he stopped, he would hunch up like this, and tail was tucked. Oh, dang. He's a big one. I mean, I don't feel good about it at all. I mean, the best part about it is that blood was pretty bright when I walked up there, but that could be
Did
muscle.
you look on the ground at all?
Yeah, there was spots of stuff.
You gotta pass through, that's gonna help.
There's a bunch of like matter on it, so it's definitely something. It's not just like a muscle hit, but it's pretty dang low.
Say it's just like low stomach, it kind of looks like.
Did you track it all?
No, I just grabbed the arrow and snuck out of there.
Perfect. This is everybody's favorite tracks. The dogs love them.
Sweet.
All right. I will see who I can find and give you a jingle back when I know something, or you should hear from someone else.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Just called Linda, the dog tracker that came when Warb shot that buck last year with Gooch. Just gave her a call, and she can't come, but she's going to ask around and see if she can get somebody to come with me.
She kind of coordinates eastern Iowa, she said, and it's cool. I went on like the Iowa blood trackers on Facebook, and there's just a link on there that I could click on, and it just pops up like all of the closest trackers with their name and number. So she's gonna point us in the right direction, but it's pretty cool that that's available. I think she put that together, and I mean
it seems like she's pretty well rounded in the dog tracking community and knows a lot of people. So when I told her I didn't go and track the deer at all, she said, "Oh, that's perfect. The dogs love those types of tracks." So hoping that's a good thing. I'm gonna send her the video just so she can see it and see what she says about it, but hoping we can find this deer. Sucks to hit him like that. I've never hit one far back before, so it's too bad, but it's bound to happen at some point, I guess. Hoping we can find him. Alright, it's been 24 hours now since I shot that buck. Shot him about 8 o'clock yesterday morning. It's about 8 o'clock right now. So Greg, Easton, and Josh, we got the dog, Dan. He's got, what, 5 years of experience, he said?
Yep. 5 years. He's been going for a long time.
Yesterday, after I shot him, walked up, grabbed the arrow, and walked out, and haven't been in there since. Got permission to go on some private to the north. He owns a bunch of ground, which is the direction the deer ran last I saw him. If he does make it onto the private, we'll be able to keep going after him. We'll go in there and get to tracking. Yeah, this is where I shot him. He was standing like right here when I shot him. And he took off back that way or that way somewhere. Right in here. There was a good amount of blood right here yesterday that I saw. He ran, took off this way, and circled down this way.
I imagine he's going to go pretty quick.
All right.
I'll keep up with him. If he's going, he's going. I don't want to slow him down too much, but then if you guys just try to stay on the trail that I'm on, just to try, because you guys will be going slower just to see if you can see blood or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's the right. I mean, when he first took off, he went back this way and then went around that where it drops off. So he's coming up on it now. Yeah, like that's right where he was. Last I saw him, and he was going that way. Let me go stand over here where I shot. I'm gonna look over here where I remember he was standing. Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Did you call me?
We got blood. We got blood going straight down that road.
Okay.
I got two tracks.
Uh-huh.
There's a truck in the field.
Oh, he went across the road?
Well, I don't know if he went across the road. Yeah, Dan's not going across the road. Or I might come back and try to start him again.
Uh-huh.
See if he goes to the same place or not. If he does, I'd imagine you're probably on the other side.
Okay.
Scratch that, I got blood by the road.
Okay, we'll keep coming up to that 2-track, or we're coming up the 2-track right now, towards you. Okay. Well, I thought I saw him go up this trail, or somewhere right in here. I thought I saw him go up that, but he's saying he thinks he might have crossed the road.
You see the stump right next to it? There's a big chunk right on it. And Dan wanted to go that way, back to the left, so yeah.
This is right. I saw him right in here. It was the last place I saw him going up this trail. That looks right there. Quite a bit of blood right there. Been tracking for about an hour and a half so far, and came back to where I thought the deer came up into this Stik stuff, and then we got back on blood once we came over here, and we've been following little drops ever since. We've probably made it 200 yards from where I shot him at least. So we're following little drops now up through this trail, but keep following it as long as we can here. Here's some more right there. Now I give you on that way.
Yeah. I said he had to probably stood right here for a moment. There's specks of blood here and there in the bed. Yeah, he definitely bedded there.
That's not good. We tracked this buck for probably 280 yards or so, zigging and zagging through this stuff. And Dan, the dog, went right through here and then kind of went over that hill, and they walked around in there, but Easton was telling us that there was blood in here, so we came in here and looked at it, and the more we sat here and picked around, the more we found blood, and we're thinking he bedded down right here. There's this blood right here that's pretty wet still, so we're assuming that he came up here, bedded down, and we probably bumped him as we were coming up here. I mean, the wind is coming this way too, so could have bumped him. We could have wind bumped him or bumped him as we were coming up through the Stik stuff. A lot of this ground this way is real open, so there's a good chance he just cut right over this hill and went into a bunch of thick ground right there. But the nice thing is a lot of this ground is open, so it narrows down where he could have gone. Doug Fink has mentioned before on these stomach hits that a lot of times if you go in 24 hours later and you bump them like we're assuming we did with this one, give them another 24 and then come in. And he says they usually won't live past that. But it seems like it's a straight up stomach hit, and it looks like he bedded down right here and has been bedded here since I shot him probably. And then we came up this morning 24 hours later and bumped him. So the plan is to get out of here for the rest of the day and probably come back in around this time tomorrow and start grid searching. So, not at all what I was hoping to do, but probably shouldn't have taken a walking shot. Alright guys, it's been 48 hours since I shot that buck. We went in with the dog yesterday, tracked it for probably 250 yards, ended up finding a bed with some dry blood in it, but then also some fresh blood in it. So, decided to back out, and Shane Simpson was nice enough to drive down last night, got here about midnight, and it's 8 o'clock right now, and we're heading back in this morning. Shane seems to think the deer's recoverable, so he wanted to give it a try with his dog and see what we could find. So we got me, Ben, Shane, Greg, and Mindy, and my dad are all here to help us look for this deer. So can't thank all these guys enough for helping me out. I hope we can find him. I don't know how good the odds are since it's been so long and the track's not real fresh, but we'll see what we can do.
I'll let her sniff around a little bit and see if she takes the line, and we'll go from there. So if y'all just want to hang like right there, and I'll see what she can take.
Shane just started the dog right there where the last blood we found was. Just letting the dog go. We both got walkie-talkies, so he's just seeing where she takes him and then we'll communicate from there.
She seemed to be tracking really well, like she was following an older track.
All the way through there.
Across the fence, basically that way and slowly down to a swamp, and right as we were cresting the hill, I got the strongest pungent odor of a deer. Actually, I'd like to try her again, see if she takes me the same line, and then we can go from there. You ready? Go right up here to where we take it dead. Find it. She waded out in that marsh, that swamp, up to her belly, and was wanting to go out there. Really? Could have been a live deer out there.
Dog's taking up a couple tracks from that last spot that we got to yesterday. This one he seemed the most confident on, so now me and Ben followed Shane down in here, and there's a bunch of swamp ground right down here. This stuff that it came through is a lot of thick cover, so working our way through here, letting the dog sniff around, see if we can find something, but probably gonna have to start grid searching at some point here.
Yeah, I just want to set a realistic goal of distance. I think the deer is within, if he's dead, I think he's within 200 or 300 yards of this spot. So if we're going to find him, I think it'll be within 200 or 300 yards of here.
Ah, that's a good feeling right there. Thanks.
I just found this freaking deer. I just found a freaking deer. Are you kidding me? Yes! Yes! I just found him. Yes! Are you kidding me? Yes! Oh my gosh! Yes! Holy cow! Yes! Greg, I just found him.
No kidding.
I just found him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just walked all the way down this river and looked over and I found him laying here.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I couldn't believe it.
Attaboy.
I just kept walking this river and walking the river, and I'm like, I almost didn't go down this far, and I'm like, I gotta check this. And I was walking and I stopped and I saw this doe running. So I stopped and looking at her. And I literally take 2 more steps and look over, and here he was laying there. Holy cow. Yes! I can't believe it.
Send me a pin of where you're at and we'll head that way.
Yep, I'll send you a pin.
Yeah. Attaboy.
Awesome, Ted. I'm so happy that you found him.
Here's how I know it's my deer. I shot him that first time. He runs around, stops and looks at me. I get drawn again, and I shot again. Hit him in the rack.
The arrow's in the rack?
There's a broadhead in the rack.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought that I might
know
have hit
about
him.
that.
I thought it might have hit him in the rack. That was like my first reaction.
What are the odds of that?
Congratulations.
Glad you found him. Thanks for helping.
When I called you, how long had you found him? How long ago had you found him? 12:02. I called you.
I literally just found him when you called.
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, because I was filming.
Yeah, because he talked to you and then he called me after he got off the phone with you. He said so. Don't accidentally grab it.
You leave that in there?
Oh yeah, he'll be in there for the rest of his life.
That's wild. That is a cool buck.
Yeah, that's why I remember
a wide thing.
how wide he was when he was coming in. It was like I saw him just wide rack and real white. And he bristled up to the decoy.
I'm not totally surprised that he went this far.
He went, what did he go, like 1,000 yards?
Yeah, what did I tell you earlier, these running bucks? They call them zombie bucks. Because had this not been the rut, he probably would have been right there in that first bed. But they have, you know, they're extremely tough to kill this time of year. And that will to breed. He probably laid there for a little bit and then he got the notion to go find another doe. And look how far he came.
Yeah, he went a long way. Yeah. I mean, he was 800 yards as the crow flies from that bed that we found.
You know, we wouldn't have found him with Callie. We were headed this way. We were just a few hundred yards there, and I turned her up. You know, we had planned that little section. I did see a bald eagle up there. I was going to tell you about it, but I don't know if it had anything to do with this.
I just started walking the river, and I walked it for a long ways. And then I almost turned up and went up like we talked about, but then Warb and Ben had been hunting back here earlier this year and said this was real good bedding. So I thought, well, I better just walk back here.
You did the right thing. I mean, you said you backed out after the shot, right? You didn't even track?
Yeah, after the shot I backed. I just walked up, grabbed the arrow, and left. Then we came in the next morning, which was 24 hours later, found that bed up at the top. So then we backed out again for another 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then found him today at like straight up noon.
Yeah, I wish I could have been available yesterday. We had much better odds. Not to say she would have found him then, but when you get 48 hours, you know.
How long do you think he's been dead?
He stinks. He's been dead since yesterday. The lungs come like right up through here, and you know they'll hit a shot here and say, "Oh, that's double lung," but I mean they stop pretty quick. It's at an angle, and then your liver's like tucked right against it, and it's not that thick.
Right, it's pretty
and I'm told it's more to the right hand side, and the stomach kind of sits right in this area here. So it's probably straight stomach. There might be I don't think it's got intestines. I think it's probably straight stomach. But if you cut it up in real gingerly, then I'll let you do that.
I'm gonna pull my mask out. I'm gonna do it.
There's a broadhead in his antlers. I had no idea that you shot at him twice.
No, I left that part out.
Why the hell would you leave that part out?
It wasn't that important because it didn't hit him in the vitals.
So you were just walking along and found him laying there stiff?
Yep.
Back in on those ridges?
Yeah, and I almost turned away from it, and then I was like, well, I better check this since you sent me that pin. He was dead for a long time. I hit him in the liver.
Hit him in the liver?
Yep.
Definitely hit him in the stomach also, it looks like.
Yeah. Went through the low part of the liver.
Well, you gotta pack him out now?
Yep, we're waiting to get off this call so we can jet sled him out of here.
Alright, well, good luck.
And you didn't know he did. No problem.
Crank the heater off.
No problem.
You wouldn't want him any bigger.
No, that was a perfect size here. Perfect size. We're fantastic. Let's roll.